if you haven't really taken advantage of paying attention to a lot, like at least 100 case studies to understand how leadership can play out in different scenarios, you're going to fail just like this guy. You're going to fall flat on your face. And marriage, it's a complex thing. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, a quick one, really quick. Welcome back, Men of Prestige. This is welcome to live from my Empire Pro Studios. Ladies, welcome. So KORRA OBIDI, I wanted to give you a quick update on this girl's story with her husband. Okay, this time I want to talk about the husband. Okay, because honestly, this is Men of Prestige, and the whole idea of this is to extract all the lessons there for men, right? And this guy won't stop, just like the wife. Okay, we know that the wife was already a social media addict. Well, we know that. That's how she probably, there's a good chance that's how they got in trouble, in their family, right? Because they didn't know where to turn the social media off, right? And there are, like I said, social media is a double-edged sword. There are ways to make money from it without destroying everything you care about, like the most important things that you care about, like your family, like your loved ones, like a home for your kids. There are absolutely ways to do it, but it's easier said than done, and something you have to manage, especially when your money comes from it, especially if you started your life like that. So it's easy to kind of accuse him of, hey, you knew this was what she was, which is still very valid. You knew that's what she was, but yet you went and married that girl. Your fault. If we have to dish fault to anybody, your fault as well. Everyone's fault, 50-50, but because it's a relationship, right? But you have to take 100% ownership and responsibility, accountability, and your fault as a man in engaging marriage with a woman that you're probably going to have trouble with in the future. This is a problem with simps, right? They think they can handle it, but eventually they always come from a place of blind spot. They're on one extreme or the other. They're either saying, no, she can't do that, or they're saying, oh yeah, I'll just let her do that. It's neither of the two, okay? The point here is that this guy is actually making a fool out of himself. And I wanted to go in a little bit deeper and show you something that I literally just saw both of them are going mad. So he thinks the social media is his friend right now because there are probably little boys, lame ass dudes giving him props for kicking her back to the streets, to the curb, right? But he's making a fool out of himself, okay? So here's what he had to say, okay? Here's what he had to say. Shout out to Instablog Niger. I'll teach my daughters what equality truly is. Say, this is a dumbass person, right? Okay, all right, let me be easy on him. He's probably a young man who hasn't really figured out life yet, and he's struggling. I'll teach my daughters what equality truly is. So that tells me that he subscribed to the idea of equality in the marriage, right? Now, this is a mindset thing, okay? If you really look at things from a pragmatic, literal, physically what you're watching standpoint, it may look like my wife and I practice equality, but that's not what we practice. We may practice equity. Even the dumbest skull that follow the feminist movement, they know there's a difference between equality and equity, right? Equity means you treat everybody with fairness, right? Depending on their inputs and outputs. But also that depends. Obviously, when you say that, it depends on, are you actually measuring these things properly? Like when you're talking about pay gap between the genders, are you factoring the fact that women generally would not do certain type of jobs, right? So, but a lot of these lame ass dudes, people like Dr. Justin, is probably trying to practice equality from a very, very literal standpoint, and he basically handed over the leadership of his household to his wife, and then he thought he was doing his wife a favor, but then it comes to find out that, hey, wife doesn't respect that. Wife is always finding herself, maybe deliberately, maybe not, always finding herself in a headbutt, argument, toxic argument for years with you because you refuse to step up to your leadership role. What does that look like? It's a case-by-case situation. It's not something you can paint a blanket paint all over, right? It's a case-by-case situation. But the bottom line is that when you don't know how to lead your household, if you haven't really taken advantage of paying attention to a lot, like at least 100 case studies to understand how leadership can play out in different scenarios, you're going to fail just like this guy. You're going to fall flat on your face. And marriage, it's a complex thing. That's why it's a beautiful thing, because it's a complex thing. Listen, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it the correct way, right? The problem here is that it's easier said than done. That doesn't make it not extremely important that you have to figure this out, gentlemen. You have to figure this out. So now he wants to teach his kids equality. Let's read the full thing. When a man leaves a toxic relationship, he isn't being a man. No, you're dumbass. You're listening to lame ass dude that don't know anything. I could see that talking point. I know where it's coming from. You've been Googling shit, and you're going to stumble into a lot of red pill bullshit that's going to help you destroy your relationship with your ex-wife to be and your children even further. That's all that's going to happen if you don't literally approach this from a healing standpoint, right? He goes, he isn't being a man, but when a woman does it, she's a hero to be praised. Stop trying to equalize yourself with a woman. That's why you failed in the first place. You're not the same as a woman. Not in this social construct. That's not how we're socialized. So when you swim against the trend and the ocean, you will destroy yourself 100% of the time. You have to learn how to leverage the current, the trend of the ocean to carry yourself to where you're trying to get to create the kind of result you're looking for. What does that mean in this situation? Don't argue with stupid talking points. If a bunch of women are saying she's a hero for leaving, what the fuck do you need to compete with that for? Why are you worried about the talking point? What about the actions? What about how they move? Women submit all the time, settle down for shit that they didn't subscribe to in the first place a lot of time. Are you paying attention to the action, or you're just here to again regurgitate a bunch of talking points? Some of us have figured this shit out to a point. With that being said, we're extremely humble. We understand that shit can happen in life, but it's very unlikely because, again, we don't put ourselves in a position where we have to regurgitate talking points like when a man leaves toxic relationship, he isn't being a man. When women talk like that, let them run their fucking mouth. What are you actively trying to compete with a woman? Again, reflected, you're actively trying to achieve equality when you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the leader, but you're trying to achieve equality. That's not wise, gentlemen. That's not wise. I don't care what you say out of your mouth. Your actions, look in the mirror and talk to yourself. Not to me. Talk to yourself and say, my actions, is it reflecting being a king? Am I showing that I'm a leader? That means you're not craving for stupid validation from a woman. You don't need a woman to agree with you. By the way, most of the time when women agree that, oh yeah, that's so true, that's just in that moment. If they get into a romantic relationship with you, you will see that they're a typical woman like most of the rest of them. So you still fail, you still lose, because again, the work is inside, bro. The work is inside. When the women talk like this, they don't always, for the most part, this is not going to be reality anyway. Women go through a lot of shit that they don't put into words. The point of them talking like this is because they go through a lot of shit and they're trying to compensate with words. Still doesn't work, because they need to do the work on themselves too as well. They need to do work as well. And a lot of them don't realize that. But it's your job to discern. It's your job to vet. And when I say vet, I'm not talking about premarital, bro. It's every day. You have to vet the ideas. You have to vet the kind of things you subscribe to. You have to vet what kind of energy you soak yourself in every day for the rest of your life, bro. If that sounds like too much work, bro, you're not ready to be a man. So it's not just because you left this relationship, it's because you don't even know how to stay off your fucking social media to stop putting your old shit out there. You still look like a fool further. The only people you're not looking like a fool to is probably lame ass manosphere dude that don't know any better. I'm sorry. If the shoe fits, eat it up completely. Don't even wear it. Eat. Okay? But when a woman does it, she's a hero to be praised. She's not a hero. She lost. She's probably running her mouth, but she lost her fucking family, and she became a single mother. She's gonna suffer. That shit is hard as fuck. Okay, let me slow down on the curse words, right? Let me slow down. right? But sometimes, yes, I'm being sarcastic, condescending, all of that, because sometimes I don't get your attention unless I do that, right? But the point stands, right? Stop competing with your woman. Every time you do that, you're going to fail, okay? You are a leader, and you need to tell your face and your body language and believe that. And if you don't believe that, it's always going to backfire. Thanks for watching.